Okay, we're back. And hello to all you out there in Videoland. Now we got it going. The microphones are on. Everything's cool. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is
Jean-Louis Filion.
And we are absolutely coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q. And John,
c'est très chaud aujourd'hui.
Welcome back.
Bonjour, mon ami, ça va bien?
Ça va bien. Yes, we missed you last week.
Très chaud ici.
We missed you last week. I was doing the Habs trivia, talking to myself.
Well, that's no good.
That's no good.
That's no good. When you start talking to yourself, look out.
That's pretty bad when I got to say, John, here's Habs trivia, and there's nobody there.
There might have been a few people talking to themselves last night.
I would say the people in Ottawa were definitely talking to themselves. But what a week we had, John. I mean, you know, everybody.
Yeah, the weather's amazing.
Everybody talks about, the Habs were up 4-2, and they tied the game and then lost in overtime to the Kraken. We had Edmonton. We should have. You know what? We got 2 valuable points on the road against teams that aren't pushovers. And you know what those 2 points meant right now, today, as we sit here?
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Well, what it means is that we are in number 8, second wildcard position. We are in a wildcard spot, and those 2 points jumped us over the New York Rangers, and here we are sitting happy today with 2 games in hand.
So as of today, if the season was over, the Montreal Canadiens will be going into the Stanley Cup playoffs.
That's right. First round.
C'est magnifique.
Now, you know, everybody thinks those 2 games, no, you don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Those points at this time of year are huge, because we could have walked out of there, out of 4 games, we could have walked out with 2 points.
We could have walked out with 4 points.
We could have walked out with 8 points, but we didn't. But we did walk out with 4, right? So that's all we care about. We wanted to play 50% on the road. You can't play better than that, especially against the Kraken on a back-to-back night. That's tough when you're on a Western Coast swing.
First of all, the team is playing great.
Phenomenal.
Since the Fantastic Four break or whatever that was called, the team has been lights out.
They have been.
And the game on Saturday, I thought, was maybe the best game the team played all season.
You know, I've been saying that for a lot of games, but yeah, it was a tremendous game.
But then one might say that last night's game was the best game they played all season.
It's hard to pick now. There's been so many.
Kind of nice that the last 2 games that we've watched quite possibly are the best games they've played all season.
All season.
I don't think it gets better than that. That's the idea. To get better as the season goes forward. And we're on the right track.
Well, see, this is the thing. I said at the beginning of the season, and you can go back and watch the tapes of our show. All I wanted from the Habs this year was to be in a position to compete for the wild card place. And I didn't care if we got it or not, as much as we had the ability to be close, because that's where I wanted to be this year. I wanted to see progress. I didn't want to see us regress back in the 28th or 30th. No. And neither did Hughes, because he said it at the beginning of the season. I want to see some progress.
I think everybody wants to see progress.
I know a lot of guys were saying they weren't going to make anything this year. They're going to get a first-round draft pick again.
There was a lot of negativity.
There was.
But I think everybody wants to see progress. I really think, but there are no guarantees.
Never.
And so the fact that the team is at this situation, October, November, a lot of people were like naysayers about the team itself, talking about maybe some changes needed to be made. And now here we are in March, and I think everybody's extremely happy with the team is playing. I mean, last night, the end of the game, Josh Janderson was being interviewed. The crowd wouldn't shut up.
I know. It was awesome, man.
Like, where does that doesn't happen 120 kilometers away from here.
No.
Ever.
No. There's not excitement in Toronto like there is right now for Montreal.
There never is. And that's the beauty of they keep the Canadian.
And we went through that 9 games where we were really, really playing well. We won 9 in a row or whatever the hell that thing was. And then we came back with 7. And, there's a lot of people really depressed about that and that. But I said, I'm not, because I saw that flash of brilliance with this team. And because they're young and they're starting to get their act together, the consistency is going to be a little bit wonky at times. And we saw that against the Kraken, right? 4-2, and then we lose it in overtime.
Again, we're in a rebuild still. We're still in the rebuild stage, and this team is still growing. We have, how we talk about players reaching their ceiling. This team isn't even close to their ceiling.
Yeah, and that's what I said after we started losing games. I'm going, we saw the flash of brilliance, the inconsistency, but it's there. It's there. And we're seeing it come out now again, right? And I said, I don't think that they're peaking too early. And most teams, I would say, they're peaking too early. They're going to be blown out by the time playoffs come. I didn't think that, because I didn't think our team has reached the best that it could be, our ceiling. And I still believe that. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing them excel. We're seeing the youthful enthusiasm. We're seeing the potential of this team and the will to win. The will to win.
You're seeing the team play collectively, and that is the key. And it's exciting to watch.
Yeah,
because for the last 2 years we've come in here every Wednesday and talked about the team and the progression and the acquiring of assets and the development, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now we're starting to see a glimpse, and I say a glimpse, of promise and a glimpse of what is to be and to come.
Exactly. And, and I look at the game against Calgary, and I look at the game against Florida, and I look at the game against Ottawa, and these are playoff games. They're playoff style games, tight checking, not a lot of being able to move around. And the Habs prevailed 3-1, and then last night, 6-3 because of 2 empty net goals. But still, we're seeing that, right?
What I like about right now is we're playing anyone in the NHL. We're competitive with any team in the NHL. That's the first thing I love. Okay, and then the second thing is not only are we competitive, but we're winning those games.
And that's a big difference than last year.
That's a huge difference to last year.
Yeah,
huge. We were maybe competitive with the worst teams last year, and then losing to them. This year now, the tide is starting to turn.
Well, it's funny because last year we'd say, another 1-goal loss, Who's going to step up? Another 1-goal loss. This year it's like, okay, we're down 3-2. Who's going to step up? And then somebody comes up, like when it was 2-1. Who stepped up and got the unbelievable goal? Lane Hudson. What a goal!
Lane had a great goal last night.
And we're seeing guys step up when they have to, and this is the difference.
Well, the entire team is playing together collectively, so we're not relying on just one part of the team to carry us, and that is the bonus.
That's the difference. We have secondary scoring when we need it. We have our top line. Just running the NHL. They're the best top line in the NHL right now since the Fantastic Four break. So yeah, we've got lots going on, and it's going to continue to go on. And when I look, I said we had to win 60-70% of the games or whatever. We're down to like having to win half the games now to get in, basically. And what a difference. And guys are stepping up when they have to. Line, when you need him, bang, he's got one. He isn't my favorite player, but you know what? When you need him to get that goal, he gets it.
Patrick Laine has had an interesting year. He got hurt. He was told to have an operation. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to physically try and mend it myself, basically, through therapy. And now he's back out. He could be the leading scorer of power play goals in the league.
He's close to it.
His contribution has been immeasurable, and he's only played maybe
36 games.
2/3 of the season
Yeah,
for
30,
Montreal.
36 games, I think, so far.
Yeah.
He might play 50% when it's all said and done.
So you got to love that.
It's unbelievable. So, yeah, we got a lot to look forward to, and these games were fantastic. We'll go through the games.
We got a lot to talk about today.
We do.
But it's time for, because I missed it last week.
Oh, yeah, you missed it.
Habs Trivia.
There you go. We got it, too. And I got a good one for you. Let's see if you can get this one, John.
Okay.
You didn't get last week's, well, not because you didn't get it, because you weren't here. So now you got a chance to redeem yourself. I don't know if Vinny got it or not. I didn't see a lot of comments on this one. I don't even have a lot of comments written down, really. But okay, let's see. Okay, everybody out there, and John, our coach, Martin St. Louis, we know he was an all-star player in his career. We know that, right?
Absolutely.
But how much do we really know about our coach?
Well, we the one thing that we do know is he likes to run the stairs at the Bell Center.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he likes to work out.
Oh, we should go see him.
And I actually think that's really important because he can so relate to this team because he can be physical like they have to be now, like what a player is like now. You know, it's not like in the old days, 60 years ago. It's like these players are elite athletes and to have a coach who can, stay up there and is trying to, keep his physicality. I think that's a bonus.
Well, if you read a Wikipedia on him or his biography or whatever, you'll see that this guy has gone through a lot in his career. As far as we look at him as this guy who scored all these goals in Stanley Cup and everything else, but he had a lot of tough time coming up because of his size.
He faced a lot of adversity.
He's faced a lot of adversity, but he has won several awards, but holds an NHL record for one thing.
Most hot dogs at the Bell Center.
That could be. He doesn't look like he eats a lot of hot dogs, so he's in pretty good shape. So do you know what that is? And I'm going to give you 4 choices.
Excellent.
Okay. Number 1, most shorthanded goals in an NHL Stanley Cup series. You getting this out there, Vinny? 2, most overtime goals in an NHL Stanley Cup series. 3, oldest player to win the Art Ross Trophy. 4, youngest player to score a hat trick in the NHL.
Wow. I mean, all of those are amazing feats.
And he accomplished one of them, but which one? That's the question.
That's the good question. St. Louis, to me, is an offensive player.
He was.
I don't see him playing the PK.
I don't know if he did or not.
So that throws out.
No, he wouldn't play the PK for sure. No.
But that was one of the...
the one is most shorthanded goals in an NHL Stanley Cup series, most overtime goals in an NHL Stanley Cup series, right, and youngest player to score a hat trick in the NHL.
So you got to be playing the PK to score the shorthanded goals. I don't see him being the youngest guy to score
a hat trick.
I don't see that either.
Okay.
Only because he faced so much adversity and probably had to, spend a little bit of time coming in off the bench. So I think it's most goals.
Most overtime goals in an NHL Stanley Cup series or the oldest player to win the Art Ross Trophy.
I'm going to say he was the oldest player to win the Art Ross Trophy because as I recall, when Marty was exiting, he was at the top of his game. Okay.
So what do you guys think out there in Videoland? John says number 3, oldest player to win the Art Ross Trophy. You have choices between most shorthanded goals in an NHL Stanley Cup series, most overtime goals in an NHL Stanley Cup series, youngest player to score a hat trick in the NHL, or oldest player to win the Art Ross Trophy, which is John picked that one. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. And the correct answer is, Vinny, oldest player to win the Art Ross Trophy. Johnny got it right by the process of elimination.
Elementary.
And, he started his NHL career being drafted by the Calgary Flames after an unsuccessful stint in the NCAA, or very successful stint in the NCAA playing for University of Vermont.
And probably back then, at that time, the NHL was not so like driven by college play as they are today, and they were probably more driven by what's going on in our beloved country, Canada.
He excelled in NCAA hockey system, becoming a finalist for the Hobey Baker Award the first 2 consecutive years he played. In the summer of 1996, NHL teams were after the prolific scorer, and teams were offering him $150,000 to sign. But he said no, he wanted to finish his college.
Brilliant.
That year that he chose to finish it, his numbers were way down.
Sadly, too much studying.
He was offered a PTO by the Senators, and that was the only team that offered that, a professional tryout, and he never made it. He got cut.
Little guy.
When the Sens released him, he signed a 2-year contract with the Cleveland Lumberjacks in the AHL.
Maybe he didn't graduate.
So, yeah. So his entry into the NHL was far from legendary. Nobody wanted the guy. And that's when we talk about adversity. Nobody wanted the guy. Now, he did continue his scoring in the AHL and was noticed and signed to an NHL contract with Calgary in 1998 and assigned to their AHL affiliate. He joined Calgary in the 1998-99 season, and he was not that successful, and the Flames left him exposed in the year 2000 expansion draft. And then they bought out his contract when nobody chose him. He was a UFA at that point. So here's a guy.
He could go anywhere now.
But here's a guy who we see in the NHL with Tampa Bay for how many years? 16 years or 15, 10, 12, whatever years. So I got it written down here. And then we see him get moved to the New York Rangers. He's won so many awards in that, and this guy's a gem of a hockey player. But his first few years, he was toughing it out.
So let's think about that. Let's stop for a second and think about that. So, Montreal Canadiens, a couple years ago, we acquired a guy named Alex Newhook, who was struggling to make it in the NHL. We picked up a guy recently named Patrick Laine, who's been struggling to play in the NHL. We've been acquiring people who need opportunities. I think Kirby Dach was struggling, and we picked him up. So, what does that say about the team, the culture, that we're there to give people opportunities? If they show us that they have that determination and drive, and we believe in them, we will give them the opportunity to be successful.
Yeah, and that says right to Marty St. Louis' career.
That speaks to the culture of the team that we're watching, that now, as of last night, is in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year.
Yeah. I mean, playoffs started tomorrow. We'd be in. He chose to sign with the Tampa Bay Lightning. The rest is history. Spending 13 seasons with the Tampa Bay Lightning, he managed a Stanley Cup win in 2004, won the Art Ross Trophy for the leading scorer, the one in 2012, 2013 at 37 years old.
That is impressive.
Making him the oldest player ever in the NHL to lead the league in scoring. He's won the Lady Byng Trophy 3 times, won the Hart Trophy, and as well as Olympic gold medal in 2014. He finished his NHL career with 391 goals, 642 assists, and now we call him our coach.
I mean, just sit back and think about that for a second. 15 years from now, I mean, we're 2025. Let's get into the time capsule and go forward and go to 2040. And will it be Slavkovsky? Will it be Demidov? Will it be Reinbacher? Will it be Lane Hudson, who's in that same position to win such a trophy?
Yeah, could happen.
Something to contemplate.
Could happen. And now like you said, John, Marty St. Louis, he knows the ups and downs of the league. He knows the what do you call that? The thing of the thing
agony.
of victory and the agony of defeat.
Correct.
Yeah, he knows the
thrill of victory,
and the agony of defeat.
Remember every Saturday
in
the 60s,
yeah,
we would watch
ABC
Wide World of Sports. Because there were like 3 channels. There was nothing else to do on a Saturday when it was snowing. So you turned on the Wide World of Sports and you hoped they'd show some hockey. Generally, they never did.
Yeah, well, what you watch is the guy falling off the ski jump.
For sure.
And then once he did that, you turned off, went outside and played hockey.
You'd see a little bit of Olympic sports, but very rarely would they even think of acknowledging the NHL.
And PBA, a lot of bowling. They used to show the PBA, the Professional Bowlers Tour. I love that. I still watch it
because it was the wide world of sports.
It was the wide world of sports. So there you go. We got him behind the bench, and we gotta love it. We gotta love it. He knows what he's doing. Now, I've been a big critic of his too. I've been because he's been learning. Yeah, I have been. He's been learning. I'll admit it. He's been learning like the rest of the team. But it looks to me like somehow, like he overcame adversity in his career. He's overcome the growing pains of being a coach, and he seems now like he's pretty good at what he does.
I think it's like Dr. Caulfield, Dr. Suzuki, Dr. Gallagher. It's like we need patience.
Yeah, they got patience.
We need patience.
Yeah. And I'm not, like, what are you going to say? Nothing. You cannot argue with success. No matter what. Absolutely. You cannot argue with success. So there you go. Marty St. Louis, oldest player in the NHL to win an Art Ross trophy.
C'est magnifique.
Leading scorer.
Salute, Marty.
Lady Byng for the most gentlemanly player 3 times. Hart Trophy for the most valuable player.
No wonder he's so cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
He's like the Chicoutimi cucumber.
Okay, so video comments at Habs Life, Habs for Life 41. Great show, guys. Can't wait for the game out here in Vancouver. I hope Montreal trades for a second line center by the time you have your next episode. Well,
I don't think so.
We treated the Knuckleheads to a 4-2 loss. Habs didn't make any moves. I think his big move was to sign Evans. I think that was the biggest move
That
he
was
made.
a huge move, number one.
Yeah.
Joshua Waugh, is he a second line center?
Well, Joshua Waugh, you know what? I'll make a comment on that now. I was going to wait till the end of the show. I'll make a comment on that now. I think Owen Beck was better.
Okay.
I really do. I saw Beck flying around. He hit the goalpost. He did this. He did that. I just think Beck was better than Waugh. I haven't heard Waugh's name at all every once in a while, but Beck,
last night he did contribute.
He did, but I think Beck was better. I don't know why. I just like Beck up there better. Maybe I'm biased.
Actually, Beck is better. Sounds good.
Yeah, Beck
sounds better than Waugh is better.
It's better with Beck.
Exactly. Things go better with Beck.
But that's just my opinion. I don't know. I know Waugh's got some talent. Obviously, that's why he's up there.
I think it remains to be seen. And I think he's the second line center right now because Marty has said, I'm not fooling around with lines. I'm not saying I'm bringing you in and you'll be the fourth line center. We're going to move the centers up and break up the lines. I love how Marty is coaching the team.
But I will give that line credit because Newhook last night, he could have had a hat trick.
Newhook scored a goal on Saturday and they took it away from him.
Yeah. But what a guy. He's everywhere. And last night, like I say, he could have had a hat trick.
Newhook was struggling on a team out west in California, and somebody went in and snatched him.
Yeah. Hughes.
Yeah, Ken Hughes.
We traded a couple of draft picks for him later on.
You're going through a lot of adversity. We think you could have an opportunity for success with us.
He's making the most of it.
I love it.
I love it. So, the lineup continues for the balance of the season. We have a legit shot to make the final wild card spot. Go, Habs, go.
Oh, do we have any more comments from last week or not?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At Vince Houdon, I had no answer to the Bunny Larocque question, so yeah, you guys stumped me. I do enjoy all the player trivia you give out and all the trivia answers. So I did learn very few things about Buddy I didn't know, and I might have went through these before. Do they sound familiar?
Could be.
Maybe last week I did, but we'll do them again because you're here. Okay. You can comment on them. Okay. So he learned a few things about Bunny LaRock. You were here for that, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we have a Bunny trivia question.
Yeah. Yes, Vinny. I'm always amazed when I do Habs trivia. So much of the background story of these great Habs players have been lost in time for me. And it brings back great memories, not only to hear the name Bunny LaRock, but to find out the where, how, and what about our former beloved Habs star.
Yeah, it's like any of those great players who have played for the Habs.
And one more question here, one more comment here from @Claude LeMay 3912. Claude, thank you very much. And I think I missed this week's questions, but I'll get them next week. We'll get them on next week. What happened to the Sherwood sticks? Man, Claude, I said last week, I think I said this before. That's a great question. So guess what John has here?
Look at this.
Claude LeMay, this is for you.
Well, it's not for you. It's my stick. But it's a Sherwood goalie stick from 1971, 2, 3, somewhere like that.
Look at that.
In fact, look, it's got a name on it. It's got somebody.
Sherwood.
It's got somebody's name on it.
It's got Michel LaRock.
Bunny LaRock.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a Bunny LaRock Sherwood goalie stick.
Speak of the devil.
Okay, so we helped two of our followers. Here's the stick, the Sherwood goalie stick, piece of lumber. Not as much as a 60s piece of lumber.
Yeah.
But a 70s piece of lumber.
What that stick cost you back then?
Probably $20. Which I mean, sticks were probably going for $5 to $7, $8, $9 for a really good stick, but goalie sticks were 20 plus. And yeah, Bunny LaRock. I mean, you can see I taped it. One of the things I used to do was I take a piece of tape and I tape it right across like that first, and then I do
wrap it.
And the whole concept was to keep it from breaking a little longer. That was the whole setup.
So there you go.
Kept the heel pretty open though on the stick.
Yeah.
And that's when Sherwood, like all Sherwood sticks back in the day, if you look at pictures from the 60s, the Sherwood looks like that. Okay? And even down here it looks like that. And then they got into the marketing. So somebody said, let's make it bigger because it's a bigger part of the stick and we can get advertising that way, basically. It was branding. And so this was like an opportunity for branding. So yeah, the Sherwood goalie stick. And the other reason I brought this in was because the Ottawa goalie last night was missing a stick.
Yeah, that was that shot by Laine knocked the stick right out of his hand, and Anderson went in and got a goal.
It wasn't Anderson.
Who was it?
It was Dvorak.
Oh, Dvorak went in and got a goal.
But what throws me is that for like 90 seconds, the Ottawa goaltender played without a stick.
Yeah, well, it showed when they scored on him. He couldn't stop it.
But it shouldn't work that way. When we played hockey.
Yeah.
And if you go back to NHL games, I mean, the rule of thumb is if a goaltender loses their stick,
give him your stick.
Give him your stick. Absolutely. For 90 seconds, nobody even thought about that. Then the next thing is go and pick up his stick and give it to him. Nobody did that either. Unbelievable. I can't believe that and then what happens after 90 seconds, we had at least 2 shots. He stopped, I think, 2 shots. And then Dvorak came in on a breakaway and beat him. As a goaltender, when you're playing without your stick, it's almost like you're like you lost part of your arm.
You're off balance or something too.
Definitely, it throws everything off. And I was
happy.
I was happy too. But that's a key part of that game last night. That was a big game for both teams, and we got the first goal of the game. That is so important, I think, to the Montreal team, is to break the ice. And then I think our confidence goes up so much when we break the ice.
It does.
And then we were losing that game 2-1 and 3-2. And you know what? It didn't phase us because we knew we could score on the Ottawa goaltender.
We knew if Lonnie took a shot, the goalie stick was gone.
The goalie stick was gone.
Now that's a good strategy.
So that was amazing. But I'll bet you something was said or will be said to that Ottawa team about the goalie stick.
I think so.
Okay?
I think so. That's minor league stuff. They should know that.
You would think, but that was an NHL game we were watching last night, which was a very important game for both teams.
Well, you know what's funny is that the Habs, like, I don't know what Ottawa was doing, but the Habs recognized this, and they took full advantage of it.
Absolutely.
Like they go, oh, boy, this is a chance right now for us.
It's like going to the carnival, and you're shooting at, darts, It's like, here we go. Now, the other thing is, 2 nights before, on Saturday, we had an opportunity where... who's the Alex Newhook, came roaring in and scored a goal. A beautiful goal. But it was called back because of goalie interference.
Yeah.
On Brendan Gallagher.
Yeah.
Now, there was really no goalie interference, but Gallagher did tap his stick. The Florida goalie was totally focused on Gallagher. He realized at that point, as Gallagher's in his way, basically in his vision, that Newhook is driving to the net and is going to score a goal. And so what does he do? He drops his stick because there's incidental contact, very incidental. But it wasn't enough for the stick to come out of his hands. Brilliant play on the Florida goaltender. They call it back, and it's no goal. The importance of a goalie stick. In both games.
Well played.
In both games.
Well played. So, just a little bit about Sherwood Sticks. Out of Sherbrooke, Quebec, they were front and center in the ice at every sports store in Canada in the day. They're still around. Well, that's an old one. But they make the newer style graphite sticks as well as wooden ones. But Sherwood moved most of its production to Asia in 2011. Just so you know.
Just so you know. Made in Canada.
Made in Canada.
Show that to all your friends from aux États-Unis.
Yeah, made in China.
Okay? And I like it, too, because Bunny's number is even on here. Number 1.
Number 1. Numero uno. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. There you go. Claude LeMay, that's for you.
You probably shot at me, and I probably stopped a few of your pucks with this stick.
I wouldn't doubt that. We played a lot of hockey, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
And I was probably using a Sherwood stick.
You may well have been.
I probably was. That's probably what I got from Mammy's Wonder Bread, a Sherwood stick. I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, I mean, we bought Sherwood mostly, but then, others like Victoriaville came on, and they would have been competing with Sherbrooke, obviously, because it was from Victoriaville.
I think I went to Cupolos about a dozen Coho sticks.
Did you?
Yeah, you can get them cheaper.
Coho came later.
By the dozen, you can get them cheaper. So about a dozen
Coho
of
definitely
ones.
came in a little later.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I think they were only for a dozen, I think $80 some dollars. They weren't that expensive.
Buying in quantity. There you
Back
go.
in the day. The whole rack.
Supply and demand.
Take them home. Give them to your friends.
No tariffs on those either. Even they're coming from, I think, Switzerland or Sweden,
Finland or somewhere. Yeah. Coho. What was that, Sweden?
Might have been Sweden.
Could have been Sweden. Yeah. And if you know out there, let us know. Hey, we don't know everything, but we know a lot. Okay, Johnny, let's get to the games.
Okay. And trivia.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things was, I think last week somebody asked you, when was the first time you went and saw Rush?
Oh, yes. That was one of the questions last week. When was the first time you guys went and saw Rush? So I said it was at the New Century Theater in the 70s. I figured around 74 or so. They did play there in 74 or 76, one of those two.
Yeah, I think it was 76 is probably when you went to see them.
Yeah.
The very first time I saw Rush was, I believe it was June. I can't remember the date. Might have been like June 17th, 1975. So it's coming up to being the 50-year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the headliner at Massey Hall that night with Max Webster opening up for them. And it was the Fly-By-Night tour.
Yeah, I don't know why. I always remember going to the New Century Theater, and I thought it was with you.
Well, we went and saw Genesis there.
That's what I was going to say. We saw Genesis for sure.
For sure.
But I don't know why that night
we saw
I thought-
Genesis twice at the New Century Theater.
Yeah, The Lamb Lies Down.
And we saw the Selling England by the Pound tour
yeah.
before that.
But I don't know why I thought that Rush played open for them that night. But I don't think anybody opened for Genesis, did they?
Nobody opened for Genesis.
No, because they were showing themselves.
But
So, but we did go to see Rush. I did go to see Rush in Buffalo at the New Century.
I'll go back and do a little more research as to dates and whereabouts and stuff like that. It might have been a night I might have had to work for some reason, couldn't go. Who knows?
Yeah, because
but that did
usually
happen.
concerts we went.
I mean, because I did
You
see
would have been there.
I did see them a little later with UFO opening up. You know,
What if I was that?
unidentified flying objects. You know, Michael Schenker, who was a I don't know if he was a German guitar god, but it was UFO.
I might have went with you to that one. That's why I'm getting it confused at the New
Could easily
Century.
be. And then today, it's Vinny, I think, who's the Rush fan, right?
I don't know. Somebody was asking about Rush. I don't have the comments from the last video. I'm going to bring them
So
for next week.
today, I wore one of my Rush tour shirts.
There you go.
From the Hemispheres tour of 1978.
There you go.
And this is like original T-shirt,
Rush promotional T-shirt.
1978.
There you go.
Hemispheres. And that would have been 3 nights at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Wow. 78, 50 years ago. Almost 50 years ago.
December 28th, 29th, and 31st. They took 30th. They took 30th off.
Should have went on my birthday.
Played on New Year's Eve.
Okay, so we're going to get to the games now. I hope you guys love taking a trip down memory lane with us.
How could you not?
I know, it was fun. Okay, so the Kraken, we lost in overtime 5-4. We talked a little bit about it. It was on the road, back-to-back games. Tough game for the Habs. We were ahead 4-2. We kind of got some penalties there, and some questionable, I would say. What's his name? Dobish got kicked in the head, no call. But at the end of the game, we went to overtime, and it was the most bizarre overtime I personally have ever seen, where the guy lines up offside. The puck goes to him. He goes in and scores in 4 seconds.
That is bizarre.
That is bizarre. That was a wild one. If you coughed and scratched your jaloots, you would have missed it.
I mean, think about this as well. We were down 2-0 and fought back 4-2.
Yeah.
The guys who were contributing, I mean, Slavkovsky scored 2 goals.
Slavkovsky got 13 and 14.
You know, Newhook scored.
Number 13.
Lane scored.
Number 15 on the power play.
You got to love it.
And, you know, when I saw 13 goals for Newhook, I'm going, he's got 13 goals? Man, he did that pretty quietly. I'll tell you that, because I would have said he's got maybe 6 or 7. I don't know.
So, you see?
It's unbelievable.
Statistics do not lie.
No, they don't. And he's fast. I know that.
Oh, I think he might be the fastest Hab.
Could be. But I'll tell you one thing. For anybody who was moaning about that game and, you know, we got a point on the road in a back-to-back night.
Kraken are a pretty good team.
Well, I think if we would have had a little bit of rest in that, and we could have beat them. But
we were outshot 35-25.
Yeah. And I just, the 4-2 lead with 12 minutes left in the game. You should be able to protect it. But you know what? That was a tough one, back-to-back on the road. So I'll give them that. We got the point, the really important point. We needed that point. And we got where we want to be, because right now we're sitting in a playoff spot. So that helped. Now, after that, we came home and had a 3 days rest, and we played the Panthers, the big, bad Stanley Cup defending champion Panthers.
And everyone was looking forward to that game.
Well, you know why I was looking forward to it? Because the night before, Columbus, Boston, and Detroit lost. And this game was huge for us to win, because those teams lost, and this gave us a chance to catch up to all of them at once.
Well, first of all, for me, it's definitive. You're playing the Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah.
Number one. You're playing at home, so it's not like you can make excuses that you're on the road. So let's see really what this hockey team is made of. What are they capable of? How capable are they to play a hockey game in the NHL?
Yeah.
And they showed up, and they were remarkable.
And if you like playoff hockey, that was a game to watch, because I'm going to tell you, the Habs laid down one of their best games. I call that one of the best games of the season, taking advantage of a Florida team that was without Ekblad, Kachuk, and their newest acquisition, the Rat, Brad Marchand. And we managed 3 goals and shut the game down. That was it.
Well, importantly, I mean, we got outshot marginally, 22-15. Okay, and we were pretty even on the faceoffs, 55-44. But we did win. We were 33% for our power play. We're 1 of 3. They were 0 of 2. That makes a big. That makes
special teams.
That makes a big difference. Hits, we got out hit, but we blocked more shots, and we still won the game.
Yeah, our first line took care of business with Lonnie getting 1, number 16, Caulfield getting 1, number 33. And of course, we needed some secondary scoring. We needed that. And who got the goal? Christian Dvorak. He got the nice goal, doing the honors with Monty holding the fort, laying down a 9:55.
And just think that a month, 2 months ago, people were going, when are we trading Dvorak? You know, when is Savard going? Are we trading Savard? Armia, he's got to go. He's got to be traded.
Yeah.
Jake Evans, they should sign him, but he's too much money. You know, we thought the team was going to be altered a bit at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And now?
Well, now, I mean, just basically Hughes said, you know what? We're going to go with what we got. There's nothing out there. Hughes isn't going to make a stupid deal. We're going to go with what we got and see where we can go with it.
But not only did he decide to keep the team in place, the players are playing, I think, their best hockey of the season.
Well, they're all contributing, which is what we need. You know, with goaltending and our secondary scoring, with our first line being one of the best first lines in the NHL right now, that's a win. That's a recipe for success.
That's a bonus for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't remember hearing Dvorak's name so consistently over the last month.
Yeah, is he a UFA this year? I think he is.
I think he is.
Well, yeah, he's playing for his life.
He is that for sure. But he's also playing, saying, you know what? Anything can happen. And if we get in the Stanley Cup Finals or the Stanley Cup playoffs, I want to go as far as I can.
Well, yeah. And, you know, we don't know. I don't know if we'll make it through the first round, second round, third round. I mean, we're going to go as far as we can.
Well, you got to get in.
But you got to get in it.
You got to get in to get out.
You got to get in it to be in it.
As Peter Gabriel would say.
But how important was this game? It jumped us over Boston, Detroit, and Columbus and put us just 1 point from a wild card spot with a game in hand on the Rangers, and we took care of business last night. And the rest is
history.
Here we are.
History.
In the final wild card spot.
I mean, again, fantastic. The names that we heard last night, you know?
Yeah, well, last night was a great game. I mean, Ottawa's always tough. We always have a tough time with Ottawa.
I mean, another guy that we always talk about trading and getting rid of is Josh Anderson.
Yeah, get rid of him. I still want to get rid of these guys.
I understand that. And you know what? They will not be with the team forever.
No.
But the most important thing is that while they were with the team, they are playing to their best of their ability.
Yeah, and you said, you know, it's up to you guys here. We're going to let you go with it and see what you can make of it.
I mean, Gallagher played his
unbelievable
ass off.
Yeah.
You know?
And to me, last night's game was the most satisfying win of the season. I don't know if it was the best game of the season. I don't know anything about that. I know for me, it was the most satisfying win.
Because we knew we needed to win it to advance to have an opportunity to advance into the playoffs. If we had lost that game, it would have made it that much harder for us to get up the hill.
Yep, and Dvorak got that early goal, number 8. And I thought we were on our way, but hold on a minute. The rest of the period was spent back and forth until Sen scored late in the period. sending Habs into the dressing room in a 1-1 deadlock.
Not so bad.
I was happy with that. Sens came out strong in the second and got one in a close checking period. Going into the third, down a goal, 2-1. Habs said enough is enough. It poured 16 shots at Ullmark, with Hudson tying the game with that beautiful goal.
Yeah, he just picked the corner.
Walked right in. I mean, this kid, he just blows my mind every time.
Top shelf peanut butter. I mean, Lane Hudson is it's like he's played with Montreal for like 10 seasons.
Yeah, it's like, I can't imagine the team without him.
Exactly.
I can't imagine.
It's just like a given.
Yeah. And then Sens took the lead again. Then Anderson with his 11th of the season. And Suzuki with his 21st gave the Habs the lead for good. Anderson and Gallagher. Anderson with his 12th. Gallagher with his 16th. He's going to get 20, this guy.
I could not get over the end of the game.
I know. Added to empty netters to drop the Sens 6-3 in an exciting battle.
I mean, who would have expected that Josh Anderson was going to be the first star?
I didn't.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody. And when he got that first star and they went to interview him and the Montreal fans for about 6 minutes cheered, he couldn't even speak.
I know.
When does that take place during the season in any of the 32 NHL cities?
Doesn't,
except in one.
La
Ville de Montréal.
That's right. And I don't care you expand to 34, it isn't going to happen.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I think everybody's happy for Josh Anderson. I mean, like I call him Stone Handserson. Stone Handserson. But like he's always there doing stuff. He just doesn't put the puck in the net a lot. But last night he got 2. So what are you gonna say?
I'm
good for him.
Good for him, because that's the kind of game that we get into. And if only one line is contributing, you most likely will tie or lose.
Yeah,
it's a collective experience.
It was the first time, I think, in a long time where I've seen 3 stars and not one of them were Suzuki, Caulfield, or Slavkovsky or Hudson. The 3 stars weren't any of those 3 guys. It was Anderson, somebody else, and somebody else. But good for the team. We need that secondary scoring. And to be able to beat Ottawa, they're tough all the time on Montreal. They're always tough. And we just laid down the law. We said enough is enough in the third period. 16 shots, took care of business, dumped them 6-3. Who cares if it's 2 empty net goals? We still had to get them without them scoring on us. Sammy held the fort. And here we are today in the wild card spot. And you know what? They never give up. A guy like Hudson steps up, takes control. Team's amazing. There's something to watch. And I talked about secondary scoring. We got it. And what else can you say about that game? It was the most satisfying game for me of the season. It really, really was.
I mean, I'm so impressed by Christian Dvorak over the last few games, because not only has he's recognized his role on this team.
And he's a center too. He's a good center.
Oh, he might be the best center. He might be the best center right now on that team.
I don't know.
As far as taking faceoffs.
Well, big faceoffs.
He's important. Out there every time.
Yeah, important faceoffs.
And for him knowing what the team needs and what they want out of him, and him fulfilling that has everything to do with the culture of this team and the direction of this team and the coaching of this team. I can't speak enough about it.
And that's what you talked about since day one when the season began, building the culture.
I can't speak enough about it. And so it's so gratifying to see this come to fruition, to see all of these players being happy. I mean, look at the joy that there was on that bench when Anderson scored that goal.
Oh, yeah. They love it. They love Anderson
because
too. He's part of them.
Because we don't see what happens 24/7.
That's right.
We don't see how hard these guys are working in practice. Their dedication, what they're doing physically, mentally, to be prepared to play these games. And that's why this team is just coming together so well. And again, it's like tip of the iceberg. It's like hopefully we're going to make the playoffs, or I shouldn't say hopefully. With more determination and hard work, we will make the playoffs.
I think we're gonna.
And now it's gratifying to see it growing, and to also recognize that we're still waiting for Reinbacher. We're still waiting for Dimidoff. We're still waiting for there's somebody else I'm thinking of.
Oh, you were thinking of Hage?
Hage. So many people
Loda
that we've drafted, exactly, that how they're going to fit, where they're going to reside, how they're going to play for this team.
Gooley?
We
still have Gooley who's still out.
Absolutely. there are so many good things. So as much as, we know some of these players are going to leave, it's so great that they're so engaged at this point in their career with Les Bleus Blancs et Rouges.
Yeah, so let's get into some statistics. Habs are sitting 33-27-7, sitting alone in the final wildcard spot, 1 point up in the Rangers with 2 games in hand. We've distanced ourselves from the Islanders, who we play tomorrow night. So another game that we would like to win, and I think we can beat the Islanders. I don't see a problem there. And with that win tomorrow night in New York, I think we can put some distance between us and the other teams, which would be fantastic. And we'll be knocking on Ottawa's door for the first wildcard spot with only 4 points behind them. That's all we are. We still have some big divisional and conference games coming up, including Ottawa again, Bruins, Islanders, and Detroit. In Florida, twice more. We have to play Florida 2 more times. So we have our work cut out for us. These are the games I've always said are must-wins, so they're the ones we want to win in our division, in our conference. So we've got our work cut out for us, but this week we meet the Islanders. Tomorrow I think we can beat them.
The opportunity is there for us to win that game.
Yeah, and the Avs are coming to Montreal. They got the travel. They play the Leafs in Ottawa before they play us. So that's a tough game.
That could work well for us.
Yeah, tonight they play the Leafs. Tomorrow I think Ottawa. So back-to-back.
So they play Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday.
So back-to-back, and then they get Friday off, and then we play them. So this is a great opportunity to take advantage of the situation at home.
Absolutely.
And then we go to St. Louis to play the Blues.
And we're pretty even with St. Louis in the standings.
Yeah, St. Louis is right on the edge. They're tied for that last wild card spot, so they're battling it out for a wild card spot as well. So they're going to be pushing hard to win that game at home. We go down to the land of the Blues, St. Louis Blues, I'm going to call it a win. I think we can beat the Blues.
I think we can win all 3 games.
I think we can win all 3 games,
but we must win 2 of them.
Yeah, I think that the Blues and the Islanders are 2 that might be the easier games for us. With the Avs, I mean, they're tough.
Those are the games that we should win.
Yes. What's your goaltenders? Who's starting tomorrow? Dobas starts tomorrow?
Monty.
And I would say that would be my call. Dobas should get the Islanders. Monty should be on the road or at home against the Avs, the tougher team. And then we're going to go back to St. Louis, and we're going to beat them, and Monty will get the start. I agree 100%. So that's our 3 coming up, ABC, you guys. But like I said, the toughest game is going to be the pushover. The Avs, Avalanche are not going to be pushovers, but back-to-back, Toronto and Ottawa, 2 tough games. 1 day rest, they come into the Habs who are red hot. We can beat them.
We just beat the Stanley Cup champions at home on Saturday.
That's right.
Why can't we beat the Avalanche at home on Saturday?
I think we can.
I think so too.
I think we can.
This team is playing great.
Now, St. Louis, we beat them 5-2 earlier in the season, just so that you know.
Yeah.
That's in October, and we're better now than we were in October.
You got to play the game. That's why they play the game to see who's going to win.
It goes to the ice. 3 stars. Le semaine dernière. What do you think?
So, for me, I mean, Les Troisième Étoile would be the team collectively. I am so inspired by the way everybody is contributing. It's not like you're just seeing one name all the time. You never know who, and they're all playing so well. I mean, Slav, 2 goals against the Kraken. The passes he's making out to Caulfield, they're brilliant. Like, he's become this amazing playmaker. Suzuki, he's the leader. Like, he is the leader, and he recognizes that. he's doing everything you want from a leader, as well as like challenging, the coach and saying, what do we need to do? What's going on with this team? Are we trading people? He's doing everything he should be. And he's what, 23, 24, 25? I mean, fabulous. CC, he scores at will, basically. He seems to score at will. Dvorak, I mean, a guy that we were ready to
pack in.
He's a major player. Anderson showing up and inspiring the whole team by playing through injury all the time. That's part of that 24/7 we don't see, is that he is carrying injuries and playing through them. Gallagher's tenaciousness. I mean, Armia constantly there. Evans, all of these guys are, they're all contributing. They're all playing so well. A guy like Newhook, who, like you said, you could even believe he'd scored so many goals.
Yeah,
Patrick Lanning, knocking, what a shot he has. I mean, it's a killer shot.
Unbelievable.
So, I mean, and then between like a Beck, and a Waugh to bring up and season and develop. Then you've got your defense. I mean, Hudson.
Struble has been playing really well.
Struble is solid. Who's the 45, the guy who we brought up this season, or we traded for?
Carrier. That was a big move. That was a key moment of the year.
The most solid defenseman we have.
That was a key moment of the year. Between him and Laine coming back, ever since then, we've been on a roll. Heineman, always around somewhere.
Exactly, I mean, Jack Guy, playing strong.
Yeah, he's playing good.
Savard, steady.
Matheson.
Always an offensive threat. I mean, and then you have Dobas and you have Monty. And I think one of the key moments is Monty going to that tournament and seeing how hard guys like Sidney Crosby work.
It's changed him.
It's definitely changed him. I mean, last night, there was a point where his net was being crashed and he never lost focus on the puck. He's really focused. He's still letting a few goals in that I think he should be getting, but he's making stops that are incredible. He's making some incredible saves.
He is. He's a changed guy.
But he is really tracking the puck, and he is very focused. And he's had an amazing record since he came back.
Number 2.
Okay. My number 2 star, Marty St. Louis.
Oh, okay. The oldest guy to win the Art Ross Trophy.
Because he is now coaching this team and everything is clicking. He has this team believing in him. All the stuff he's told this team back in October and November is starting to come into fruition. The team is playing collectively to win. And that's why we're winning games, because of the way we play hockey now. We're so much more aware of where the puck is and taking the opportunities that exist and not forcing them.
Number 1 star.
Hughes. Because
Howard Hughes.
He sat with this team and said, okay, I'm not going to make any stupid moves just to make moves. I believe in all the players that I have. That's why they're on this team. They made this team. We're going to live and die with these players, and this is how we're going to win hockey games.
And there you go.
And these players see that. They see what Hughes does. Oh, he brings people in from the outside and gives them opportunity. Oh, he signs Jake Evans because Jake Evans wants to play in Montreal. Oh, maybe I should want to play in Montreal. Maybe, and it's starting to show. Everything is starting to get connected.
Yep, true enough.
So
and that's a huge thing.
Development is a process, and that's what we're witnessing.
My 3 stars. Number 3, Hudson. Kid is leading the NHL in scoring. He's going to win the Calder. Scored a beauty last night. He's a factor in every game. I can't imagine the blue line without him. I said that earlier in the show.
It's hard to imagine the entire team
without him. He's just so great. He's beautiful to watch. Number 2, Caulfield. This kid continues to amaze on his way to a 40-goal season. He's 33, 7 more to go in. What do we got? 17 games, 16 games, 13 games, whatever, 14, 15 games. It doesn't matter. He's going to hit 40.
Fabulous.
Mark my words, he's going to get 40.
Fabulous.
And of course, my number 1 star is Suzuki. Mon Capitan, probably the number 1 captain in the NHL right now. He does it all. He leads the team on and off the ice. What more can you say? Plus 11, 70 points in 67 games, 49 assists.
Well,
do I have to say any more?
That's the other thing, is that now the first line is in a plus situation.
Yes.
Always wasn't like that.
No.
First line is putting pucks in the net and not letting pucks in when they're out there.
It's just amazing to see what's going on. But these 3 guys are the guys that I watched all week, and I just shake my head going, man, oh man, how did we get lucky enough to get these 3 guys? And then I think it wasn't luck. Hughes knows what the hell he's doing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And honorable mention. I mean, I can't go after these last 3 games.
Is Drew Deeks the honorable mention?
Yeah, Drew Deeks. I wish he was here.
You know what? He's listening in. So, bonjour, mon ami.
We miss you, Drew. We miss you. But I did watch your show with Shaner the other night. It was great. How can we forget Laine, Newhook, Anderson? They've been factors in every game as well lately. You could go through like you did the whole lineup. You said the team as a whole. And nobody was going to argue with you about that one. I don't think you're going to get any bad comments. How can they, the way this team's been rolling? We got 3 more games here, and I'm going to tell you, if we win these next 3, we are going to separate ourselves so much from the rest of the teams that we're battling with. I don't think they're going to be able to catch us, and we might even jump Ottawa.
You know what is so exciting about this team is that we know it so well. And it takes you back to those times in the 60s when we were growing up and watching the Montreal Canadiens and how well we knew the team then. And so it's just as exciting as it was 60 years ago and 50 years ago, with the Dryden era team.
Yeah.
And
we got it back.
I got to say, I don't know if this is happening. I don't think it's happening everywhere in the NHL. I mean, I'm sure there are people who follow their team and they really know their team. But I think if I stop people on the street and I ask them about their favorite team, and most of them would like some team that wears blue and white.
Yeah, around here.
I think they'd be able to maybe name 5 or 6 players. And then I think they'd start getting hard pressed to name more. And that's the difference. There is also a love factor here. Like we embrace these players. We are invested in these players. Not just as hockey players, but as human beings.
Yeah.
Anderson's suffering. Look at Gallagher. He's got a baby now and he's inspired. Look at the way he's playing, happy pair, Patrick, he suffered injury. How's it going to affect him? We embrace this team and there's a passion there. And you heard Anderson last night go, this is the best place to play hockey.
He's right.
Listening to a 6-minute ovation. That applause was for the entire team. Not for Josh Anderson, but for the entire team. And him being able to embrace it and then say, and then again conjugate the fact that it is the defining best place in the world to play hockey.
It really is.
No wonder a guy like Demidov over in Russia can't wait to play here.
He's got one foot on the boat right now. He wants to get the hell out of there.
They all want to play.
They all want to come to Montreal.
And I didn't feel that maybe 10 years ago.
No. People wouldn't come to Montreal.
I didn't feel that maybe 20 years ago.
No, they wouldn't come to Montreal.
But I sure feel it now.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the 60s and the 70s, you couldn't get in because you had to be French Canadian. Now
Dryden.
Now the opportunity has changed. Bellevaux. Now the opportunity, Richard. Now the Lemieux, Cornoyer. Now the opportunity has changed, and you can. And now they want to. That's the difference.
And on that note, we're getting out of here. So
Boom.
Thanks, everybody.
Merci
Thank you so
beaucoup.
much for tuning in. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button. It costs nothing to subscribe. It helps our algorithm.
Leave comments.
Yes, leave comments. We love to talk about Vinny and comments. Leave comments. I'll get to the ones from last week, this week, because I forgot about them, I think. I just forgot about them. I was getting everything together. Anyway, we're out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. It costs nothing. Hit the like, hit the comments, do everything.
The Habs, they're closer to our heart.
They're closer to the heart and like Rush. Have a great day, everybody. My name is Paul K. Lemire.
Jean-Louis Filion.
Signing out for today on Habsolutely. Next Wednesday at noon, we'll be back with the latest on the Habs in 4680Q Studios right here in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. The only Habs show live on the radio from Niagara Falls, Canada, every Wednesday at noon. Tune in. We'll see you later. God bless you all, and go Habs, go.